Hello and welcome to the PowerFish podcast. I'm Ben.
And I'm Fish. Last week we had an exciting episode where Ben and his brother, Christian, had a great debate for how long was it?
Like over 2 hours.
It was ridiculous. But yeah, that was a great time. If you haven't checked that out, go check that out. And if you have any questions, comment below. Anything like that, we will read them on the podcast. We keep
it could be
saying
questions
that.
about anything.
We
anything,
keep saying that, and we keep
anything.
getting people saying stuff, but no questions yet.
Yeah, we need questions. We need questions about your deepest thoughts about anything at all.
We are life advisors.
We are life advisors. Yeah.
Well,
Early
on
20s.
On the topic of a religious debate, we're going to have a religious focus episode today. We have gathered some quotes, some biblical, some not, and we're going to read them to the other and see if they can guess if they come from the good book, the good and special book,
The good and special book.
or some random
Made up.
Yeah.
Or not all these quotes are made up. We have 10. We're playing a game. We got the rules here. We have 10 quotes each. Some of them are not actually quotes. They are made up. Some of them are quotes, just not from the Bible. And some of them are biblical quotes from the Bible. We are going to pitch one after the other. We are going to say the quote. The other has to guess if it is biblical or not. And we do, like I said, 20 quotes total. Whoever has the most guesses correct by the end gets the dub, I guess.
The number one victory royale.
Yeah, we got no stakes except our dignity. So I'll lay off the first quote here, and we'll see if you can get this one right. As a dog returns to its vomit, so a fool repeats his folly.
I think I've actually heard this one, and I think it's biblical.
You think that's real?
I think that's real. I think that's real.
Final answer?
That is my final answer.
Okay, yeah, you're right. You're right. That
Sick.
is from Proverbs chapter 26, verse 11. As a dog returns to its vomit, so a fool repeats his folly. I was thinking you'd probably get that one because that one is that's a pretty known quote.
That's a pretty well known one.
Yeah, but yep, you got that one right. Proverbs.
All
Yeah.
right, let's go over to me. Gotta pick one. That's the hardest part. Which one I want to do. Here we go. To do good to others is the greatest happiness.
To do good to others is the greatest happiness.
What are you thinking?
That sounds like something New Testament. You know, to do good to others. That sounds like a Jesus quote.
It does.
Kind of. I don't think that's biblical.
Is that your final answer?
Final answer. I think that's made up.
That is correct. That is
okay.
That is from Plato, actually.
That was Plato?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Plato was a assistant type of guy to Socrates, and he got a lot of basically everything we have of Socrates came from Plato. So Plato is definitely an important guy. Yeah, I was. You see, it sounded biblical and it sounded like something Jesus would say, but it sounded too easy to understand.
Oh yeah,
if that makes sense.
I will say, okay, that's a good point. So I am pulling from multiple different translations.
Okay,
So I'm pulling from every. So you don't know what you're gonna hear, really.
Gotcha. Yeah, I definitely do know that I don't think the Bible is quite that easy to, especially a direct quote from Jesus or God. Would be so unambiguously good. As bad as that sounds. But so that's one to one. We're necking.
Yeah, I'm trying to get a scoreboard going, but
Well, we can just remember it, I'm sure.
okay.
1-1. My next quote. The Lord helps those who help themselves. The Lord helps those who help themselves.
That is not a biblical quote.
Not?
No, that is not.
That's correct. Yep. That one is completely made up.
I feel like I've heard of that being and often misattributed.
Correctly. It is oftenly mistakenly believed to be in the Bible, but it's actually from Benjamin Franklin.
Benjamin
It was
Franklin.
a quote from Benjamin Franklin. Actually, I got that one from ChatGPT. It asked me, why do some non-biblical ideas get absorbed into Christian thought so strongly? Is this one compatible with biblical teachings or in conflict? I think that's a pretty common thing. Non-biblical ideas getting absorbed into Christian thought. Marriage is actually one of those, I'm pretty sure. Marriage, at least in the eyes of Paul, is like, he doesn't really talk about marriage very highly. I believe there's a quote that he wrote, like saying, like if a widow, it's best for a widow to stay single, but if she cannot help herself, best to get in a marriage or something like that. As if marriage is like the compromise.
Yeah.
Paul, I think that was from Paul. So it's not, marriage is another one of those things that Christians kind of made up themselves as this requirement of Christianity and like building a family and stuff.
Yeah, and it's,
as far as I understand anyway.
Well, so I think it shows a level of commitment, because one of the tenets of Christianity is being committed to your spouse, and
Right.
or your significant other, and the way to show commitment is going to be through marriage. That's not really necessarily a requirement in other religions, though.
No.
That is a not strictly, but I think predominantly Judeo-Christian idea.
Yeah, and specifically my upbringing, the evangelical sort of Bible Belt, conservative Christianity, marriage and the building of a family is like definitely the expectation.
Right.
It is. This is just what you do if you're a Christian. It is the next thing in life. But like I said, I don't think that's actually biblical.
All right.
So
I think it's back to me, right?
yeah. So year 2.
This.
Wait.
Yeah, we'll remember. We're getting
it. We've already forgotten. Who just asked who a question?
You asked me a question and I got it right.
Okay, so you're at 2 and I'm at 1.
Yeah. Why don't we write this down? How about we just write this down?
We're already. I didn't think it would be that hard to remember just 2 numbers, but here we are, forgetting. We definitely got to write it down. What are you going to use?
I have an app that can track like a card game points, and that it would work for this. It would work for this application. Just plenty fun. So I'm at 2. You're at 1. Put that there, I guess. All right. Learn to do right. Seek justice. Defend the oppressed.
Learn to do right. Seek justice. Defend the oppressed. Ooh. Again, this sounds kind of New Testament-y. I think that is biblical. Final answer.
Okay. It is in fact biblical,
Okay,
but
good.
it is Old Testament. It
is Old Testament?
Yeah,
Really?
it is Isaiah 1:17.
Okay, yeah.
Interestingly enough.
I guess it's not surprising. It's Isaiah. Isaiah's got a lot of things like that from what I remember. Okay. We're necking 2 and 2.
2 and 2.
All right. Better to live on a corner of the roof than share a house with a quarrelsome wife.
Right off the bat, I'm thinking that's gotta be not biblical, because that's crazy talk.
Better to live on a corner of the roof than share a house with a quarrelsome wife.
As much as as much as I want to say that is biblical, because I feel like the Bible would say something like that, I'm gonna go not. And that is my final answer.
Answer that is incorrect.
Okay, that's okay. I kind of
that was from Proverbs chapter 21 verse 9.
What are we doing in Proverbs? That's what I want.
Proverbs going off. Yeah, no, that's a real quote. It's it gave me a question here. Ancient domestic wisdom or problematic gender roles? Is there value here, or is it time-bound cultural venting?
I think it might be that, actually.
I think that's exactly what it is. I think who wrote Proverbs? Do we know that? I don't know if we know who wrote Proverbs.
I thought I knew something at one point.
Oh, I know we don't know who wrote some books of the Bible.
Right.
And I think, I don't know. I thought Proverbs might be one of those anonymous writers, but anonymous authors. But I'm not certain.
King Solomon is traditionally credited.
Solomon. Okay.
But that could be wrong though.
Well, if it was him, then I think that's exactly what this is. King Solomon got his panties in a bunch and stepped on a nail when he got out of bed that morning, and then he wrote that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a guy.
I think that's the divinely inspired writing that God intended. Okay.
Alrighty.
You got that one wrong.
So we are still necking. That's right.
2-2.
2-2. Yep. Okay. Do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself.
That's biblical. That's yeah, 100%.
Think so?
Final answer. Oh yeah, I remember that verse.
You remember that one? Okay, yeah. That is Matthew 6:34.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah.
I hadn't heard of that one. Honestly, I hadn't heard of that verse.
Really?
Mm-mm.
Tomorrow will worry about itself? Yeah, absolutely.
See, to me, when I read that originally, I was like, that's such a feels not biblical to say. Tomorrow's gonna worry about itself. That's
kind of, yeah.
That feels very like Tumblr posty, like just
yeah. Instagram post in cursive font with a landscape background. Yeah.
Exactly.
No, yeah, I remember that verse when I read it. However many years ago. Yeah, definitely. Okay, I'm on a roll. All right. My next one, let's see. Happy is the one who seizes your infants and dashes them against the rocks.
That's biblical.
Yeah.
Yep, okay. I know that one.
Yep,
I know that one.
Right.
I don't remember where it's from, but that's biblical.
That is from Psalms 137 verse 9.
Yeah, because that's
a crazy one.
That one's one of those ones that shouldn't be there.
Yeah,
granted, I don't know the context.
Me neither. That one's a wild one. It's the ChatGPT told me this verse is poetic vengeance spoken by exiled Israelites. Should it be seen as historical rage, or is it indefensible? I mean, I think this was a King Solomon situation. The writers woke up, stepped on a nail, and he's like, all right, now I'm writing scripture, and I'm pissed. Take babies and dash them against the rocks. Be happy about it. Yeah, that one's crazy.
Which one do I want to do here? A lot of really good options.
There's some good quotes.
There's some good from both. Yeah, from the Bible and from not the Bible.
Yeah. Man, Bible's a crazy book. 66 books of craziness.
All right.
Unless you're Mormon.
What? I didn't hear that.
Unless you're Mormon, they got another book.
Oh, they got another book.
More than 66.
Okay. Life is a journey to be experienced, not a problem to be solved.
Life is a journey to be experienced, not a problem to be solved. Oh, man. That sounds like a problem to be solved. That's definitely motivational quote type of stuff. Man, were they doing motivational quotes back in the day? 2,000 or 6,000 years ago? I don't think that's biblical.
Is that your final answer?
No. Life is, say it again. Life.
Let me find it again here. Life is a journey to be experienced, not a problem to be solved.
I don't think that's biblical.
I don't think so.
No.
It is not biblical. That is from Winnie the Pooh.
Damn. That one I was really not certain about that one. Winnie the Pooh almost got me. Man, Winnie the Pooh should have written scripture. He would have done better than what we got. Holy crap. Ooh, yeah, that was a close one. Winnie the Pooh. That's an old show. I used to watch. I haven't watched very many. Is it a movie or is that a show? That's how long ago it's been since I've seen this. Since I was a tiny.
Well, I think there's both. I think.
Oh.
Thought there was the 100 Acre Woods something. Christopher Robin something. Yeah.
I'm surprised there hasn't been a live action cash grab remake.
There has been.
Oh. Okay. Shows you how much I know. Did you hear there's they did a live action cash grab of Lilo and Stitch?
I heard it was good, actually.
Really? I heard it was a dumpster fire.
Oh, well, a duality of man, I suppose. I heard it was good.
Oh, wow. That's genuine. That's surprising. What other most of the live action remakes of good animated films have been bad.
I liked the Lion King remake and the new one, the Mufasa movie. I liked both of those.
I didn't see either one of those.
I think everybody likes the Jungle Book remake, but I'm not big on it. I don't know.
All movies I have not seen.
Well,
because I don't watch movies.
You suck.
Well, I guess I'm just making shit up by saying they're all bad. That's just what I've heard. Maybe it's just from angry fans. Okay. Let's see. Let me see here. I'll go with this one. And the Lord opened the wombs of their cattle, that they might birth abominations with many eyes and no tongues, as a sign against the wicked.
That's crazy. First of all, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's a crazy one.
All right. I'm going to say it's biblical, and here's why. Because that to me, and I could be wrong on this, that to me feels structured like a biblical verse. The structure is there. I'm going to guess it's biblical.
Final answer?
That is my final answer.
That is incorrect.
Wow.
Completely made that one up.
Wow.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one.
Dang, man.
Yeah, it's structured in the way like a biblical verse would be. I agree. I don't know. I guess it's kind of, there's a lot of like body horror in the Bible, if that's the right word for it. But so that's seems like something that would have been in there. But nope. Made that one up.
All right. What do we got here? I'm trying to remember what I've done already. Okay. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind.
Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Pattern of this world. I know the Bible does teach against worldly stuff quite often, so that's definitely on brand. What was the second part?
I'll read it from the beginning. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind.
Renewing of your mind. That sounds very biblical. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind, as if you're being accepted by the Holy Ghost, or filled with the Holy Ghost type of situation. Deny worldly stuff. That's got Bible all over it. I'm gonna go biblical. I
You
think
go
it's
biblical
I think
on
it's
that
biblical,
one?
Yeah.
That is biblical.
Okay.
All right.
Good.
That is Romans 12:2, I believe. That one's funny because I used to go to a Christian school, and this was like their motto. This was like the one.
Oh, really?
This was the one that they put up on the signs and stuff.
That is put it on that does seem like a poster child quote for something like a church or a youth group or something like that. Yeah, that one sounded too biblical to be made up.
Yeah.
that one had scripture all over it. Okay. Let's see. There she lusted after her lovers, whose genitals were like those of donkeys, and whose emission was like that of horses.
See, here's the thing. I could see this being made up, but I feel like I've heard this before. I really do. I feel like I heard of a woman in the Bible talking about donkey genitals. I swear to God. I'm going to go biblical. I swear I've heard that.
Final answer?
That's my final answer.
Yep, that's
okay,
right.
That
was straight out
now,
of
if
Ezekiel.
there's one thing I'm going to take away from scripture, it's donkey genitals. I swear.
That was Ezekiel chapter 23, verse 20. Yep. Woman talking about genitals and horse scent with men. Yeah, that was a pretty crazy one. I thought that one was freaking hilarious. Why is that in the Bible?
All right, here we go. Another quote from me. Not from me, but
Right.
I am a part of all that I have met.
I think we just heard a wreck outside. Hold on, I got it.
Can we
Pause.
I'm gonna go see what that's all about.
And we're back. So we did actually hear a wreck. There was right outside my front door. We couldn't discern exactly what happened, but there's a barbecue place across the street that just had its front door taken out. So there was a car. What we think happened: car going down a street. Another car pulled out either in front of it or pulled out into the side of it, one or the other, causing the car going down the main street to swerve and just absolutely annihilate the front side of the building. We think everyone was okay, at least for the most part. Literally, like, not even 3 to 4 minutes, ambulance came, and then I think there's 7 police cars, another ambulance, and a fire truck outside.
I think there was 2 ambulances, 1 fire truck, and just quite a few police cars.
Countless police cars, yeah. So that was pretty crazy. Heard that. Heard that live.
We heard both impacts. We heard the impact of the car to the other car, and then the car to the
building,
the barbecue restaurant there.
Right, yeah. Well, you think they'd let me go order?
I mean, you ain't coming through the front door, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, there is no front door anymore. Well, that was pretty crazy. I forgot what your quote was.
All right, here we go. This is a good one here. Let's get right back into it. All right. I am a part of all that I have met.
I am a part of all that I have met.
Yeah.
Part of all that I have met. This sounds... This doesn't necessarily sound biblical. It sounds kind of maybe true. I'm a part of all that. There is this quote that you're the average of the, 10 people that you spend the most time with or something like that.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
And that quote sounds like it's saying something similar to that. But it doesn't quite. I'm going to go with not biblical.
Not biblical.
Not biblical. I don't think it is.
Okay. That is not biblical.
Okay.
We are.
All right.
You're still flawless here.
I'm on a freaking roll,
That
dude.
is from. I don't even know what this is. It's from. This is what it gave me. Alfred Lord Tennyson from Ulysses. I don't know what that is.
A guy, presumably from Ulysses. I'm guessing.
I suppose so.
Okay, I am rocking this so far.
I've missed, I think, 2, and you've missed none.
Yeah. Okay. We're on a roll. All right. I'm gonna hit you with this one. This one's wild. Now kill all the boys and kill every woman who has slept with a man, but save for yourselves every girl who has never slept with a man.
This is another one I want to say is biblical because I feel like I remember a really messed up story.
There's a few of those.
There's a couple of those.
There's a few of those. Mostly the Old Testament.
I'm afraid I'm going to be wrong again because I'm just assuming that the Bible is the worst. So I'm going to go biblical. That's biblical.
That was spoken by Moses himself.
Moses himself,
Yes,
you say?
That was biblical. Yep.
All right, let me ask you.
That was after a battle with the Midianites. That was
the Midianites?
Is that the right word for it? Is that what they're called? Mennonite?
Well, there's the Mennonites, but that's a different thing.
No, that's not the Mennonites.
Where is this? What is this? What is this verse?
Numbers 31, 17 through 18. What are they called? Wasn't something knights? I thought it was something like
the
that.
Canaanites, maybe?
No, that wasn't Moses with the Canaanites.
Was that not Moses?
I don't think. Mediantites? Mediantes? I thought it was something like that, dude. I swear to God. Numbers chapter 31, verse 17 through 18.
I'm working on it here. What are we doing here? What? Just show me the Bible. I want the Bible.
Look up this verse.
I'm trying to. It's just like, you want to talk about the Bible? No, I want to look at the Bible. Midianite. I think it's Midianites. Let me.
It is Midianites, right?
You said Midianites.
Oh,
which is pretty close.
Midianites.
I just that didn't hit my ear correctly. So I want to say it's the Midianites. I could even be wrong, but
I thought it was knights. That's all I remember.
So okay, let me ask you this: why do I have us at 5-5? That's not right, is it? No, it would be. It would be because I guessed first. Yeah, that's right. It's got to be right, or no? We couldn't do it not keeping track, and then now
we're not doing it with keeping track. How is it? Is it 5-5? Well, how many questions have you asked me? Because I should have gotten all of them.
Yeah.
Go down your list and how many have you gotten through?
Shoot.
Because you've asked me more than 5, haven't you? Who started?
Maybe that's what it was. I think what happened was I didn't count for your last one, but then I just got one, so I'll be.
So it's 6-5.
Yeah, because I guessed first, so then it would go back to you to extend your lead by 2 because I've missed 2. So it's 6. It's got to be 6-5.
Okay.
And
so I'm winning by 1.
And if we're wrong, sorry, but at least that's the correct spread though.
Okay. All right.
Where does that leave us?
Well, you were looking at what that group of individuals was called.
Because you asked me a question, right?
Yeah. It was a quote from Moses that wrote his quote down in the Bible. And I believe it was the story of the battle with what I thought was called the Midianites. But
dude, it might be. What'd you say?
Midianites?
Midianites. Yeah.
Okay, it might be that too. So I don't.
It is entirely inconsequential.
Yeah, not relevant to this game.
All right, so I'm asking you a question.
Yeah.
Now. Or not asking you a question. I'm telling you something. You gotta tell me something back.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go.
That's how this game works.
When the path you walk always leads back to yourself, you never get anywhere.
When the path you walk always leads back to yourself, you never get anywhere. Well, I mean, that's true.
A lot of true people have said a lot of true stuff, including the Bible.
Yeah. Path you walk always leads to yourself. You never get anywhere. I think that I don't know where. I don't think that that's biblical. I don't know where in the Bible that would be, and I'm going to be upset if it's biblical. Final answer.
It is not biblical.
Okay, all right.
It is. That is from Master Oogway.
Master Oogway. What was he? A turtle?
He was the wise turtle from Kung Fu Panda.
Master Oogway. What a gangster. He spoke truths. Walk to yourself. You won't nowhere. Mm-hmm.
Just on the subject of Master Oogway, really quickly. I don't have this written down, obviously, but I want to share with you one of my favorite Master Oogway quotes. Oogway quotes. I don't remember it. I remember it mostly off the top of my head, but here we go. I'm going to pull up just to find the one quote I'm looking for. This article is called "Discouraged: 17 Master Oogway Quotes to Inspire Your Journey." 17? Yeah, I'm just gonna read the one. But
that dude dished out some wisdom in that movie,
dude. That's what I'm telling you.
Or how many movies was he alive for? 2?
Well, he was alive in the first one and then died in the first one. But he came back as a spirit in the third one, I want to say. The one where J.K. Simmons is a spirit walker.
Okay. So we've got some...
There's some lore in the Kung Fu Panda series, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
All right, here's one of my favorite, maybe my favorite Master Oogway quote right here. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. But today is a gift. That is why it's called the present.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Man, why did God not inspire some creative stuff like that? Holy crap.
Why did God not make the wise turtle real?
Yeah. He made a talking snake with either wings or legs before he punished him.
And that guy was a jerk.
Yeah, why couldn't he made the antithesis of that and make Master Oogway?
Exactly.
God, put Master Oogway in the Bible. God damn. Then I might be a Christian still. That's a good one. Yesterday, what was it? Yesterday
is history.
Yesterday's history.
Tomorrow is a mystery, but today is a gift. And that's why it's called the present.
Yep. That's good. All right. Well, and we're going to downgrade from that to back to the Bible here. So I got, let's see. Let them weep blood from their eyes and drink the sweat of the earth, for their pride has risen like a stench in my nostrils.
These all sound so biblical.
Yeah, I know. That's the point of the game.
I'm gonna say not biblical because I feel, or should I?
You got the last one right when it was some violent stuff like that.
Yeah. But I feel like the person speaking in this context would be God.
Mm-hmm.
And why would God be talking about his nostrils? I know it could be figurative, but that doesn't feel right.
Who was it that saw? Was it Moses that saw his back? Because if he saw his face, he would die.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he has apparently human faculties.
Screw it. I'm going to go not biblical.
Final answer?
That's my final answer.
That is correct.
Thank goodness. Where's that from?
That one entirely made up. Nowhere.
Oh, cool.
Completely made that one up.
All right, that's sick.
Yeah, that's not a quote from anybody. Not Benjamin Franklin, not Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, I don't think Ben Franklin said that. I'd We'd be getting him off our currency, I think.
Benjamin Franklin said that. Oh, that'd be funny. Definitely not Ben Franklin. Yeah, you got that one.
All right, I'm almost certain I haven't done this one yet. All right. And just stop me if I have. There is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens.
There's a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens.
Mm-hmm.
Time for everything. Season for every activity under the heavens. I kind of think I remember this one too. I remember something. There's definitely some bits where the Bible mentions seasons and relating it to the heavens. I don't know if that's the quote. Time for everything. Time for everything. It sounds biblical. I'm going to go with there's a time for everything. That's the part that's kind of whacking me up. Is there a time for everything?
Depends on who you ask.
In relation to the heavens, well, let's think here. If he's talking about the seasons of the heavens, if you're talking about heavens, then yeah, there is time for everything.
Well, no. Let me read it again. There is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens.
Which would be earth. Which would mean that he's incorrect in that quote. Not that it has to be correct to be in the Bible. I think I'm going to go biblical.
You know, biblical on that one?
I think so, yeah.
All right, that is biblical.
Okay.
So that is Ecclesiastes 3:1.
Ecclesiastes.
Yeah.
I thought I remembered. I don't think that's the only quote of seasons in the heavens. Because I remember something along those lines, but I don't know if it was exactly that quote. All right. I've only got 2 to go here.
Yeah.
Let's see. The heart that harbors no envy sleeps without fear. The heart that harbors no envy sleeps without fear. You sleep soundly if you got no envy in your heart. Again, I would say it's another true one.
I think this one's biblical again. Yeah, I'm going to go biblical.
Final answer?
Yeah.
It is incorrect.
God.
Completely made that one up.
You making them up makes them stupid. God.
I've only got 1 to go. I thought that was a pretty good one. However, I thought you would be able to get that one though. It's kind of just. It felt to me. It feels a little bit like a one-liner, but
yeah. Well, the Bible's full of those.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? The Bible's got a lot of stuff. Hold on.
I guess you're right. Yeah. I'm not exactly feeling that sharp.
Hey. All right. Hey. Go on to the next one.
Okay.
I was gonna say.
What the hell was that about?
I was gonna say, hey, that's a great transition, but I figured we probably weren't gonna be transitioning from what we were just talking about. Well, now I've done it. Now we gotta leave it in. My whole thought process was, I'm gonna do. That's a great transition, but I was like, we're not gonna be transitioning from that conversation.
So,
well, all right. Well, now that we're leaving it in, here's a great transition here. On the subject of not being very sharp, here's the quote: "Iron sharpens iron, and one person sharpens another." Well, isn't that a great transition?
That would have been pretty good if it wasn't totally bastardized. Iron sharpens iron, and People are good or something?
Iron sharpens iron, and one person sharpens another.
One person sharpens another. Iron sharpens iron. One person sharpens another. Ah. Well, this does have that one-liner feel that I just talked about being a reason for not being in the Bible, but as you corrected me, the Bible is full of those. Iron sharpens iron, and one person sharpens another. I would really like to clean sweep this. That'd be pretty sick.
You got to pull out your big boy hat, big boy smart hat.
This one's tough, though. I don't know this one. Like, I don't even have a hint in my mind about this one. Iron sharpens iron. One person sharpens another. I'm going to go with... I'm scared. I'm going to go with not biblical.
You're going to go with not...
Final answer. Just leave me in suspense.
Yeah, big suspense here. All right. Going with not biblical. Is that your final answer?
Yep.
Your big boy final answer.
Uh-huh.
That is biblical.
Frick!
That is from Proverbs 27:17. Iron sharpens iron, and one person sharpens another.
Frick, dude. There goes my clean sweep.
There it goes.
Dang it. I didn't know that, like, I didn't even have, like, that was borderlining a guess. I didn't even know context,
that's
no idea at
hilarious
all.
to me because, again, I went to a Christian school. That wasn't like a poster on the poster one, but the phrase iron sharpens iron was always said.
Really?
It was always quoted, always referenced.
Yeah, that was nowhere in my upbringing. Frick, dude. All right, last one out of me. Do not worry about tomorrow. For tomorrow... Oh, you said this one.
I said this one.
Dang
you
Frick.
dummy.
Well, you know that one's a legit one.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me find another one real quick. Whew. That's the one that I said I feel like I've heard before, isn't it? I wonder if I heard that from when I actually read it or if I heard it from when I wrote it down.
I'll bet you.
Freaking dummy. Oh, man. How did I not... like, wow, I recognize that one. Oh, no crap, I recognized it. I wrote it down moments beforehand. What the frick? All right, this is my final one. If two men are fighting and the wife of one of them comes to rescue her husband from his assailant, and she reaches out and seizes him by his private parts.
Oh, does he now?
You shall cut off her hand. Show her no pity.
It's hardcore. I happen to know that verse, and
Okay.
that is in fact biblical.
Yes, that's Deuteronomy. Oh man, dude. Speaking of Deuteronomy, I made a joke last episode in the debate mentioning the Canaanite slaughter in Deuteronomy, and I thought I was being sly by saying, "Dude, you're on me," but neither you or my brother caught on to that joke.
I don't remember that.
it blew straight over both of your heads.
Yeah, I'm just too stupid.
Yeah. You probably just didn't even hear that. That's what I said. I thought I gave it a chuckle. It was pretty funny.
That's what matters.
And then nobody else laughed. I was like, okay, that didn't go over. Very funny, dude. Dude, you're on me. But, well, okay. So you got that one. So what's the points here?
The current score is...
The points have gone through so much turmoil.
Yeah.
So
So the current score is you with 8 and myself with 7.
Okay.
So unfortunately, there's no way for me to win this or even tie it. But you could extend your lead to 2 points instead of 1 with my final question.
So I barely, maybe a little bit more than barely hit 1. All right.
We shall see. Okay. Make sure I got the right one here. Yeah. Okay. He who stands firm in the storm shall find his strength, not in the winds that blow, but in the roots that hold him steady.
That sounds heckin' biblical as heck. I'm gonna go. Just rapid fire. I'll go that's biblical.
You know what that's biblical?
Yeah.
That is out of ChatGPT's bumhole. I'll tell you what.
ChatGPT. Holy frick! ChatGPT did a great job. That sounds crazily biblical.
I just read that. I didn't even read it for the first time when I just copied it over. But reading through that, I was like, that's powerful. In the roots that hold him steady.
That's a good quote. ChatGPT knows how to make stuff up.
So surprisingly, after a commanding lead to start, we ended pretty close with 8 and 7.
I'm pretty. So I got 8 out of 10. You got 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
It felt like I was flying because I got all 8 of those.
And you just dropped the ball.
And then I just dropped the ball on the last 2. Which that's
the game right there.
That sucks. Well, let us we thought about turning this game into some other stuff, like perhaps like instances of events in the Bible. Like, did this event actually occur? Well, biblically did it occur in the Bible. Who knows if it actually occurred in real life.
Oh God, I know I always quote stand-up comedy, but there was I think the last 2 times I've quoted stand-up comedy, I've also specifically quoted Louis C.K. There's another quote by him. He was talking about he brought up a Bible on stage and he was reading from it to like really just to convey that the Bible is insane, and and he was like, "This is really in here. I didn't make this up." Well, it's all made up. And then he was like, no. I mean, I didn't make this up. They did.
Yeah. Well, it's all made up. That's funny. That's not, Ricky Gervais.
Oh yeah.
That sounds like something he would have said.
That guy's funny too.
Ricky Gervais is freaking funny. I first learned about him in Night at the Museum. He was the museum
Wait, who was
manager?
Was he?
Ben Stiller.
All I knew was Ben Stiller, and then Owen Wilson was the cowboy, and then that guy
who played FDR. Who played Roosevelt?
Well, it wouldn't be FDR. It'd be Teddy. That's who I was trying to think of.
Not Franklin Roosevelt. Theodore Roosevelt. Who played Theodore Roosevelt?
Who played Theodore Roosevelt?
Teddy. Why was he nicknamed Teddy again?
Because Teddy is a nickname of Theodore.
Are you sure?
I'm absolutely positive.
That also sounds made up, but I guess Dick don't sound like Richard.
Dick don't sound like Richard. None. I guess you could barely say that William and Bill are related.
William and Bill, or like Bob.
That's
and
what
Robert.
I thought. It was Robin Williams. That's what I was thinking. But he has got so much like makeup.
You don't look like Robin Williams.
I kept thinking it's Robin Williams, but I was like, that's not right. It is.
Yeah, no. Who did Ricky Gervais play? He played like the manager of something or other in the museum, didn't he?
Night of the
Ricky Gervais is a funny freaking dude.
Cast. Show me the cast. Show me the money. Well, don't just come right out and say it.
I feel like you say that every time you look something up.
It's always buried. It's never right there in front of you.
Well, it's because Google search is just so bad nowadays.
I know it. All right. I just had it, but now it's gone.
That's great.
Dude, it was in front of my face 3 seconds ago. Here we go. Ricky Gervais as, what is it? Dr. McPhee, the curator of the Museum of Natural History, and Larry's boss. Larry being Ben Stiller's character.
Right. Okay. So he's the boss.
Yeah.
He's ignorant to the tablet and what it does and stuff, right?
I think so.
I remember him not actually knowing what goes on. The previous night guard, who was also a bad guy, did though.
That was that night guard played by Dick Van Dyke from from movies.
Yeah.
I don't know what Dick
He's
Van
in
Dyke's in,
movies.
but I just recognize the name. He was in the original Mary Poppins. I know that. Wasn't he like? Wasn't he?
I wouldn't have guessed that.
Wasn't he in the? Who did he play in Mary Poppins? Now we're just going down a movie rabbit hole real quick.
We did this last time. Wally and Wally. What else? Monsters Inc. That's what it was. A couple episodes ago.
Oh, he played Bert. Oh yeah, because he was young. He was young in 1964.
No freaking heckin'.
For some reason I think of him as an old man, so I was thinking of him as like the bank manager guy.
In Mary Poppins?
In Mary Poppins, but no, this was way back in the. Oh wait, no. I think I know why I think that. Hold on. Let me verify this before I talk out my butt here. Let me verify that.
We're on just like a tumultuous sort of deep dive here on movies now and actors. Do people often say there's like a running joke that Sam Harris looks a lot like Ben Stiller? I don't know if you've seen what Sam Harris looks like, but
yeah,
he does look like Ben Stiller, which I think is kind of funny.
Okay. Yeah, this is why I thought of Dick Van Dyke as the like head of the bank or whatever, because he was he in the remake, not the remake, the kind of a sequel, Mary Poppins Returns, from a couple years ago with Emily Blunt. You haven't seen it. Why am I
haven't.
Why the frick am I gesturing to you?
Shouldn't she be busy like not saying words at risk of dying to monsters?
What are you
Emily Blunt? Isn't that the chick from Quiet Place?
Quiet Place. Yeah, you're right.
I was making a funny ha-ha.
Oh, well, just like your dude or on me or whatever.
Dude, you're on me.
Dude,
yeah,
you're on me.
I guess my freaking words just go right over heads.
You're just dumb.
freak.
But yeah, he played let's see, the retired chairman of Fidelity Fiduciary Bank. In the remake, in the original, he was Bert. That's why I thought that. How did we get on that topic? Right. We talked.
Night at the
Museum, and Dick Van
Dick
Dyke
Van Dyke.
was the veteran night guard.
Or could you say Richard Van Dyke?
Probably not.
Probably not. Does anybody? Okay, let's talk about this. Let's talk about parenting right now. If somebody named their child Richard, in this day and age, do you think they would ever actually go by Dick?
That would be a really bad thing to do for social status, I think.
Right.
That's not good.
Like, that's old fashioned. That is antiquated. I don't think. And if a kid got named Richard, first of all, what's a typical Richard? Like skinny, nerdy. That's what I think of when I think of a Richard.
Dude, I've got Disney on my brain right now. So when I think of Richard, I think of King Richard from the animated Robin Hood movie. But he's a lion, so that doesn't count.
I haven't seen any of these movies that you talk about.
Dude,
but yeah, no.
If you knew things about animated movies, we could start a whole other podcast, I'll tell you what.
I feel like you could do that on your own anyway. Yeah, so don't name your kid Richard at risk of them going by Dick.
My middle name was almost Richard. Fun fact.
Why?
I don't know, some family tie somewhere. I don't know. I was just letting you know that. I didn't know I need to like cite my sources or anything. I just
Explain yourself.
yeah, mine was almost middle name Richard. Why is that?
Well, usually you have like a freaking. Oftentimes, you take your middle name is your father's first name.
Your middle name's like Eugene or something. What is it? I can't remember.
Eugene? No. What? It's Gregory. Because Greg is my dad's first name. And that's not special. That's not unique.
I think Richard was gonna go from my dad's dad. No, somebody in my family on my dad's side, and then they ended up going with my mother's grandfather, I believe, with Raymond, which is my middle name.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know the story.
How do middle names get made up? Do they just get like? Is that what? Do they just get made up?
I mean, they can.
Do they just assert? Not made up, but selected by choice, or is there like some legality to it?
There is no legality to it. You can name your kid whatever in whatever combination.
So why do middle names exist?
Well, actually, I would assume to differentiate
even further from first and last.
Like if you got a John Smith and a John Smith, now you could be John Gregory Smith.
I think the only reason last names used to be like your profession. That's where things back in the day.
That's where Smith comes from, yeah.
Right.
And Baker
blacksmith. And Baker and Fisher.
Yeah.
You have a last name as a first. But I don't know what mine would have been. Power. Frick. I don't know. Some of them
are nothing, I think.
Made up.
And then some of them are what would be the word here? Like the word typo doesn't seem right, but
someone made their last name just some typo.
Well, that happened. Immigrants at Ellis Island. They'd come in and somebody would say something super Italian, and then they'd be like, "Nah, that's close enough." You not know that?
No.
Yeah, the
what?
The immigrants at Ellis Island back in the day, real bad with that not caring to be correct with people's government documents. As immigrants, they were just like, nah, and then that's how you get Americanized, especially with Italian names. But
yeah, I didn't know that.
That's a good Google search. What are some examples of last names changed at Ellis Island?
Oof. I feel like that's gonna be some pretty bad ones. Pretty crazy ones. I mean, if they type in a word that sounds like their last name, then maybe that's good enough. Just a spelling change. That was a stupid thing I just said.
Exactly.
Who cares if your last name's spelled?
Yeah, that's fucking. Come on, just give me a list. Just give me a. Don't make me go to ChatGPT on this. Give me a good ancestral findings. Okay, all right. I said ancestral.
Yep, ancestral findings.
That's what I said. I didn't stutter.
You hear that? You hear that, YouTube overlords? Ancestral.
Wow, I really wish this. I thought this was going to be a really interesting little Google search here, but you know what?
I think Google searches have just been failing.
Thought this was going to be really. Who knows if that happened? Even now, who knows?
Maybe the whole story was AI.
Maybe that's true.
Did you? Oh my God! Did you see there's AI generated video with audio now?
Oh God!
They can just straight up AI generate whole scenes.
I don't like that.
Like
I'm not even like a doomsday guy. Like, oh, we're all gonna die because the AI can do a thing now. But I don't like that.
I'm not a doomsday guy, but I am this is just gonna add slop to the internet guy.
Was it Neil deGrasse Tyson who said that AI is going to essentially break the internet because it's going to produce so much false content that you can't trust anything on the internet, even more than we don't trust it now. So it's just going to ruin the internet.
Yeah, that's just inevitable. Like we might already be at that point nearly. Like,
yeah.
Now this is crazy. I downloaded Facebook for the marketplace, made a profile just for the sake of the marketplace.
Yeah,
like a few weeks ago.
I did that a long time ago. Yeah,
dude. I have done nothing but open that app and click on Marketplace. But the feed, I have no friends, no follows, have never even looked at another profile. Well, up until a couple days ago, because me and a friend were like, this is funny. But the default feed with zero data from me was tons of titties. A lot of it's AI titties, that is.
Yeah.
And a decent chunk of ass.
What more do you need?
I think there was a little bit of Rick and Morty.
There you go.
And like surfboarding or something like that. That was on my feed, all of it. Mostly tits, AI tits, and chunk of ass. Default for a 24-year-old male. It's not making a fresh account.
And did you
Facebook.
and did it you put in your correct age?
Yes.
Okay, so that's probably why.
Wait, I hope that it's not serving this default feed to like younger people making a profile, like a 15-year-old. Right? I hope they're not serving that as the default.
I kind of have a feeling they would.
Well,
because like a 15-year-old boy,
oh my god,
if all they're looking for is engagement, that's how you do it.
Which they arguably are. That's all they're looking for is engagement. So maybe that's not unique to me.
That'd be a funny experiment one time. Is just
make a younger account.
Yeah, try just making accounts at different ages and seeing how different it is.
That would be interesting. Well, if you're male and 24, you're going to get a lot of tits and a lot of ass. A lot of it was Billie Eilish tits, interestingly
Really?
enough. Yeah. AI generated Billie Eilish boobs. as a default.
So that's oddly specific of a niche right there.
Yeah, it's Facebook's wild and Facebook's going crazy. Well, I think we got to stop on that note.
Yeah, that's the best note to stop on, really.
Really. Especially when you're scrolling, you got to stop on that note. AI generated Billie Eilish tits. Well, I won the game. I won the Bible quotes. I impressed myself, honestly. I didn't think I would do quite that well, but I guess I have you and I both being raised in the stuff kind of have a decent sniffer for.
You have we both have repressed Christianity inside of us.
Yeah, that's been beaten into us for the beginning half of our lives. But let us know some quotes that you guys like from the Bible, or maybe don't like, but what am I trying to say here? Love to like the freaking insanely violent ones. It's not like I like those quotes, but they're good quotes. You know what I'm saying?
It really proves a point, I think.
Yeah. Like in as loose of a way as you can take it. Comment some quotes from the Bible that you like. And we'll talk to you next week.
See ya.